Hi folks, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Kat. I'm a licensed registered dietitian nutritionist and online nutrition coach. I specialize in sports nutrition, gut health, and prenatal nutrition, overall nutrition practices that support physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being. Today is a reaction type video. It might get a little bit ranty. I've been holding these screenshots in for a little while. We are just going to be talking about some claims that particularly Plexus distributors like to make. Some of these are wild. Let's go. As a disclaimer, everything in this video is 100% my opinion. Now, before Plexus distributors come up in here and get mad that I don't know anything about Plexus, I will say I have not done any research on the product. Research is the systematic investigation into and the study into materials and sources in order to establish facts and find new evidence and find new conclusions. It's typically done while working at a university or with a university or working in a laboratory setting, usually with a team. You have people look at what the methods are to that research study before you even start. It goes through quite a bit of work in order to get approved, to be peer reviewed, in order to be published into a journal. I love the idea of research, but it is just not my passion. I would rather pay for a membership to a journal and or to summary publications that provide me with those sources of the research done so that I can use them as sources. I have done a video on Plexus before, and I made it clear in there where I get all of my sources from reputable places. So I call what I do not research, but just information gathering from reputable places that does research, actual research, not Google searching. I just wanted to put that out there. I don't perform research studies. The science person in me wants to make that very clear. I don't work in a laboratory setting, but I know how to read those sources and I know how to find them and to apply them. So for Plexus distributors who come on here and say, I don't know anything, I haven't done my research. Yes, I haven't done any research publications on Plexus, but I am looking at sources that do research on those ingredients. I just wanted to put that out there because my Plexus video is one of the most disliked videos on my channel, which as far as the dislikes go, I don't mind because technically it still is interacting with my video, and so that's like a positive thing that we want as creators, so that's fine. But the part that is concerning to me is when I start to hear their arguments that are purely based on anecdotes or personal experience or the experience of one of their friends or their upline or someone else in another team. And when those arguments turn into some really wild claims that can become very dangerous, that's where my concern lies. And I mean, it gives us more content for the channel, so that's kind of a good thing, but it's also pretty bad when you have these people making such claims as what they are doing. So we're going to talk about a couple of those. I also have a couple of screenshots from either Instagram or Facebook. I have shared some claims that were made on my video. I've shared them to my Instagram stories, and I have tagged Plexus, the corporate Instagram account. I have never heard from them, so I don't know, maybe they didn't see it. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I am not seeing a whole lot of, and maybe it's all in the back end and I wouldn't see this because I'm not a distributor of Plexus, but I have not seen Plexus like really talk about making sure that everything that their distributors are saying is in line with what they're legally able to do. All of these pictures are recent. They are at least what I would think of or call recent, either this year or towards the end of our previous year of 2020. And actually when I created my Plexus video, my deep dive and going into the different products and my concerns around it, that was after Plexus had received a letter from the FTC. So I thought it would be great to just kind of start with that letter from the FTC that was sent to Plexus. Now, the FTC sent out quite a bit of letters in the summer. They did 2 rounds, to my knowledge, at least 2 rounds of letters to different multi-level marketing companies, and they were talking about either product claims or income claims. Plexus was one of the companies that had one of the letters sent to them. So let's just read that. This letter was sent to the VP Compliance, and it says, Federal Trade Commission staff has reviewed social media posts made by Plexus Worldwide LLC business opportunity participants or representatives that unlawfully advertise that certain products treat or prevent coronavirus disease. This letter is to provide you with information about laws and regulations enforced by the FTC that may bear upon your business activities, including the activities of your business opportunity participants and representatives. Just a side note, if you are CEO of your company and the FTC is sending a letter that is not to you and they are referring to you as opportunity participants or representative, you are not the CEO of your company. It is not your company. You are a opportunity participant or representative. Okay, back to the letter. Some examples of COVID-19 prevention or treatment claims made by your business opportunity participants or representatives include a post stating #Plexus, #coronavirus, #prep, #vitamins, #health, #COVID-19, #COVID-19 again, and linking to another post stating #Plexus, #coronavirus, the same ones, next to an image of Plexus Worldwide products and the text, "Boost your immunity with our everyday wellness combo." That was number 1. Number 2, #virus corona. Worried? I've been boosting my immune system for several years with high-quality Plexus supplements. You can too. #Plexus provides excellent all-natural supplements that truly work. Be sensible, not fearful, scientifically formulated, and doctor approved. Ask me. Number 3, a post stating, "We know that runaway inflammation is a culprit behind this virus. We've all seen what happens when the virus sneaks into the lungs. It gets worse. Recently, researchers discovered it can damage your heart muscle and even slip into your brain, causing loss of smell and taste." So how do you stop runaway inflammation from damaging your lungs, heart, and brain? And how do you protect against the virus in the first place? By giving your immune system an energy upgrade. Your immune system requires a ton of energy to fight the virus. Without enough energy, the virus wins and triggers runaway inflammation. So it's crucial to get your immune system the energy it needs. These can help. That whole statement was above an image of 4 Plexus Worldwide products. Yikes. Last one. There was a post stating, "Great information. Looks like the same probiotic strains and enzymes that are in my ProBio 5 are being used to treat COVID-19 symptoms. Almost all patients have shown an irregularity in their gut microbiota following treatment. Probiotics and prebiotics are being used to avoid secondary reinfection." They continue the letter to say that it is unlawful under the FTC Act, continues on, to advertise that a product can prevent, treat, or cure human disease unless you possess competent and reliable scientific evidence, including, when appropriate, well-controlled human clinical studies substantiating that the claims are true at the time they are made. For COVID-19, no such study is currently known to exist for the products identified above. And I will say that this was sent back in the summer of 2020. As of now in 2021, there's, to my knowledge, still no well-controlled study substantiating that the claims that they claimed above are true. Thus, any coronavirus-related prevention or treatment claims regarding such products are not supported by competent and reliable scientific evidence. You must immediately cease making all claims. Now, you would think that after they sent out this letter, that they would do a company-wide training on how terrible those claims were, but maybe they did, but a lot of their distributors didn't make it to that meeting, if they had a meeting, because they're still making claims about coronavirus. I have personally reported said claims about coronavirus and Plexus and other nutrition-related MLM companies, but Right now we're talking about Plexus. So in my opinion, Plexus is not doing enough to discipline or to educate their distributors. If I was the actual CEO of Plexus, I would be so furious and I just would be losing it with the amount of people. First off, I would never be in that position, even if I was offered it, like, no. But even if I was in that position, I cannot imagine allowing my distributors to say something of that nature. Absolutely not. Okay, so let's talk about the first screenshot. This was actually on my video. And I took a screenshot, I uploaded it to my Instagram stories, I tagged Plexus, haven't heard from anything. This person said, she being me, I didn't break down anything. If you take a look at the ingredients, you would be surprised how many of them prevent COVID. Even another thing, if you are not pooping daily, then your guts are messed up and you may need some help with that. So I don't know why she mentioned about the if you are not pooping daily. I don't think that I mentioned my poop cycle in that video. And I have a very healthy digestive system cycle, bowel movement cycle. You don't need to know that, but that's a whole nother thing. But the fact that she said, literally, if you take a look at the ingredients, you would be surprised at how many of them prevent COVID. She's talking about Plexus ingredients. Plexus prevents, not really, this is just, I'm saying what she is saying. YouTube, don't take this down. She is saying that it prevents COVID, which is 100% false. She said that I didn't break down anything, which if she watched the video, I went ingredient by ingredient showing where I was getting my information from, what places, reputable places I was referring to when looking at those ingredients. So when she says I didn't break down anything, I'm not sure how much more she would want me to break down things, but that's not even the bad part of the comment. It's that second part about the ingredients in COVID. Who in their right mind would think that their specific product would just prevent this whole thing from happening? Like, apparently, we didn't need this to happen in the entire world. We all just needed to buy Plexus. Do they really believe that? Do they believe that it's not just legally a liability, but it is just morally, ethically wrong, in my opinion? Okay, so another comment on my video, she says that she can't get enough of Plexus. Lady, you are so mistaken. I've only been called lady by like children. Like, we're like, lady, my ball went in your backyard or something like that. Like, I don't know. Maybe she's a child. She says, lady, you are so mistaken. Plexus saved my life. I suffered from hypothyroidism taking levothyroxine 150 milligrams, which should be micrograms. Yeah, it should be mcg, but I'll leave that. I'm assuming she was taking 150 micrograms and then now 125 micrograms and being tested monthly in order to decrease the med until I'm completely off it. I was able to start intermittent fasting from September 2020 to today. I've lost 47 pounds and proud. My doctor and staff are proud and amazed. I've regenerated my cells. Now I have T3 to T4 conversion. I stopped aging, body aches, brain fog. You should try it and stop hating because it's obvious you have seen great benefits in so many people and you've become so envious that you want to be sure no one else finds this. Plexus proud. This woman sharing her experience going from 150 to 125, I'm assuming micrograms. She says milligrams. Usually that medication is in micrograms. I'm not a pharmacist, but I am on that medication too. But she also talks about like different dietary changes that she has made. We have resources and evidence, information, how to implement changes in order to support the healthy changes that we can see with our thyroid levels, those changes in our labs. If you begin to change your dietary pattern, your intake at the same time of starting a supplement, most of the time it's going to be more because of those other changes that you have made, not the supplement. So I'm just not really as a health professional, like, I'm not really impressed by this. I would want to see a control of her doing those actions and not taking Plexus. Like, you can't make all of those actions and say that Plexus is the thing that made it happen when you are doing there's so many other factors to factor in. There is literally so much that we can do with thyroid conditions, whether it's hypo or hyper, that don't have to do with taking Plexus or any other of these special kind of like supplements or anything. Literally, Nutrition Management of Thyroid Disease. It's a pretty big book, lots of amazing information in that. I take levothyroxine too. My thyroid levels are exactly where they need to be now because of the medication and also from other actions that I have implemented to get them to be well controlled where they're supposed to be without Plexus. And yes, my experience is anecdotal. It is my experience. It doesn't mean that it's going to work the same on everybody else, but I did it with information from reputable sources and by taking the medication, which I really appreciate the fact that we have the science and ability to be able to use medication like this and to really help people to get their hormones where they need to be. It's amazing. The part that I really want to point out is the part where she says that she has stopped aging. Literally, I've stopped aging. That is quite the claim, and I'm sure that anybody who has critical thinking skills would see that, and any credibility that she has built up, it's gone. The argument that she provided, credibility, gone. She also says that I've become so envious that I want to be sure that no one else finds this. I'm not sure what part of Plexus that I could be envious of. Envy is wanting something that someone else has. I want nothing to do with Plexus other than to call them out if they continue to make these claims. I'm more upset about somebody assuming my emotions, but I'll tell you what my emotions are when I hear about Plexus. They include annoyance, alarm, disgust, concern, repulsed, not envious. There is nothing I envy about a company like that who is selling lies, who is selling dreams, and making their little distributors tell these lies and sell these dreams so that they can get off clean. Because those aren't their actual employees, they can just, slap them on the wrist, or in some cases, depending on the severity, they can cut ties with them and say you can't be a distributor anymore. They are covering their own butt and making their distributors take the fall for it. Okay, so next one. This one was actually in a group that I am in on Facebook, and I asked them if I had their permission to share this terrible screenshot. The person who I reached out to who shared this, who's not a Plexus distributor, they said, 2 days ago, I had a really bad bout of depression and I posted about it. Today, I saw a doctor and posted about that. I had tried Lexapro about 10 years ago, weaned myself off, and haven't taken anything since. Today, my doctor suggested Wellbutrin. I've received several encouraging comments and messages throughout the day. And then this. Plexus Huns are the worst. I tried Plexus years ago with the same promise of life will be absolutely perfect once you start. It wasn't. You're right, hun. I'm not interested. Just stick to the annual happy birthday message and we're good. So the screenshot that she had back and forth with the Plexus distributor, it says, "Hi, blank. Saw your post. Praying for you, friend. My friend blank was on Wellbutrin and Lexapro as well. It's not meant for long term, yet people stay on it for a while. My friend was able to get off all her antidepressants, yes, using Plexus. I know you're not interested, but I just wanted to share that with you. I haven't dealt with depression, but I know it can be debilitating. Love you, friend." Is she a doctor? That is just so dangerous, and so many distributors will join like specific groups on Facebook that target different kind of medical needs or different kind of things, subjects, and they'll just kind of like tiptoe around looking for a need. That's part of the training, is keeping your eyes open for a need to fill. Another picture that I saw from another Plexus distributor said, "Any friends struggle with anxiety or depression depression, I have a combo that is working really well, and I'd love for you to try it risk-free. These aren't just surface level emotions. These are clinically diagnosable mental health conditions. If she can't get away, if she knows that she can't get away with saying that she has this combo for anybody struggling with like diabetes or cancer or like anything more like what people recognize as more like the physical side, then she should not be talking about it for the mental side either. Here, another person, Plexus distributor. Good news, the combination of Lactobacillus helveticus and Bifidobacterium longum has been shown to relieve symptoms of anxiety and depression while also reducing stress and anxiety producing hormones. And according to a recent study, even people who didn't consider themselves high stress may attain serenity boosts from this novel probiotic combination. So how can probiotics help? Depression, stress, anxiety. And she goes on and continues and talks more about their Probio 5, which is just the best thing in the entire world. If you have depression, don't go buying Plexus. Go to a mental health professional, go to a doctor, go to a therapist, go to somebody who's not gonna sell you an MLM nutrition product. There are bad supplements that are not MLM too, but I cannot imagine telling somebody who is struggling with depression that I have something that is going to cure them of depression, that is going to like just be the best thing and all they need to do and they can get off their depression medication. It's not that other people are envious of Plexus and don't want other people to have these products. It's that we are trying to protect people from people who are selling these products and these dreams, these kind of claims, these lies of this dream of a better life, mentally and financially. Even that person who I showed the example, she had tried Plexus before and it didn't help her. And a Plexus person was still reaching out to her and saying, I know you aren't interested, but I had to share with you that I know somebody who got off their medications. Like, is there a possible other reason why they got off their medication too? Like, do you know the whole story? Do you have their case file? Are you able to read everything in their case and understand it and maybe recognize that it could have been something else? Is that even a true story? Or is it a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend? All right, so let's move on to the next picture. So this Plexus distributor is talking about the side effects of pink drink. Positive side effects, of course. That's all you get, just positive side effects of pink drink. You get regulated blood sugar and a whole bunch of other things. You also get balanced hormones. Saying that something regulates blood sugar, I don't want to give any Plexus distributors any ideas or something, but that like legally, I can maybe, if someone, I would still hate this, but if they said that it may support a healthy blood sugar level, like I would still find that frustrating, but to say that it regulates blood sugar can put somebody in a very dangerous situation. There are a lot of people with diabetes who are very well educated. They know their body. They know how their blood sugar levels are doing. They know exactly what they need to do in order to get them in the appropriate range that they need to be in. And at the same time, there are also a lot of other people with diabetes who are not well educated about it. To say something regulates blood sugar if they aren't fully educated about their diabetes, that can put them in a very dangerous place. If one of those people were to say or were to see this and be like, oh, it regulates blood sugar, I'm gonna get it because maybe I can't afford that and I can't afford my other medication or something like that. In my opinion, that looks like a medical claim. Maybe I'm wrong, but when I see regulates blood sugar, to me, that sounds like a medical claim. She also mentions above that, she uses that regulate again, regulate blood pressure, regulate cholesterol, regulate triglycerides. Where is your evidence about that? Is it just anecdotal? Because that's not good enough. She also says that it has a side effect of balancing hormones. What hormones is she talking about? Is she talking about your pancreas regenerating beta cells to produce insulin? Is that how it's balancing out hormones? Is she talking about your thyroid all of a sudden being able to produce enough thyroid stimulating hormone? That would be balancing out hormones. Like, what does balanced hormones mean? Should they just stop taking their thyroid medication because this says that it balances hormones and that's why they're taking the medication in the first place, to help balance out their hormones? The side effect of saying it balances hormones is incredibly irresponsible, in my opinion. Okay, and then the next picture, we should not be surprised about it. It says, did you know 1 packet of Plexus Slim is equal to 9 cups of broccoli? In what way is it equivalent to eating 9 cups of broccoli? Is she just talking about the chromium in there? Is she also talking about the fiber in there, the other micronutrients in there? You cannot say that something is equal to taking 9 cups of broccoli if it only meets 1 nutrient. Like, that's not how saying something is equal to something works. That is just one tiny piece of information from broccoli. It is not equivalent to broccoli. And even if it was exactly the same thing as broccoli, which it is not, you don't need to eat 9 cups of broccoli a day. I would not recommend it. And in this picture, they also state that it gets rid of bloating along with a lot of other things. But I love to talk about gut health. That's one of the areas of practice that I primarily am practicing in. There are so many reasons why somebody can have bloating, and just saying that this blindly just gets rid of bloating is another irresponsible thing, because there are ingredients in here that are going to help some people with bloating, and they're going to make bloating in other people worse. So unless you are able to ask those people more information, be able to do that full assessment, I would not say that this gets rid of bloating, because while it does for some people, it will do the opposite for other people, or just not help at all. Okay, so moving on to the next group of screenshots. This one got me so heated. Okay, so it was on Instagram and it was over several stories. It starts with, on the top it says, pregnant and nursing mamas. Do you know why pink drink is so important for nursing mamas? And then she goes on to share information, or talking about how a doctor in her research has shown that it takes longer for milk to come in women who struggle with utilizing insulin, which that's just talking about insulin. It's not talking about Plexus. You can talk about insulin though without having to talk about Plexus. So she goes on to say how blood sugar level steady is one of the best ways to protect and help support your milk supply. Insulin is an important thing. That's why we have all these tests. We make sure we test for gestational diabetes, things of that nature. Okay, so the infuriating part is that she talks about how rich and nutrient-dense milk equals happy baby. Our pink drink paired with our gut health focused supplements like BioCleanse, ProBio 5, and X Factor Plus, you are giving your body highly bioavailable spectrum of 19 essential ingredients and over 50 naturally occurring trace minerals and good gut microbes. And overall recommending pink drink being so important for nursing. Now, the fact that they are out here preying on people who are just trying to do their best to provide the very best for their children, and in particularly while they are going through nursing, which is a very challenging thing to do. It can be very rewarding, but it takes work. The fact that they are doing that is just so disgusting, and especially when you look at the ingredients, it literally has Garcinia cambogia as an ingredient. WebMD has some issues of its own, but even WebMD says you definitely don't want to use it when you are pregnant or nursing, or if you have liver problems. It is possible manic symptoms may emerge as a side effect. I've talked about this specific supplement in multiple videos before. We've talked about it in multiple different other companies' products. When you look at the label, it's recommended to consume this pink drink 2 times a day. While supplements in general, they're going to say check with your doctor, check with your a medical health professional before you take this supplement. When people are struggling, when they're in that position and they're trying to produce enough milk, they're tired, they're not getting the best sleep, there's a whole lot of stuff going on, they're trying to care for this new human being, if they don't get a chance because they're, worried about everything else and they forget to ask their doctor about this and, they are just wanting something to help, like, just because on the label it says to ask your doctor before taking it doesn't mean that absolves you from all responsibility in recommending a product to a specific group of people. If I were to just recommend things and just say, no, as long as I tell you, to check with your doctor, like that clears me of all liability or anything, like, no, I still have liability insurance. I had a lawyer write up all of the documents that you fill out with intake forms before you work with me. I also make sure that I am following evidence-based information, that I am giving quality information. I'm not just going to recommend something and be like, oh, it says on here, you had to ask your doctor, so that, absolves me of anything. No, that's not how it works. And for some people, so this includes an oligosaccharide, which is a specific kind of carbohydrate chain. As I was mentioning before, for some people that can be very helpful with their gut health. For other people, depending on inflammation going on, different things, that's going to cause very much a lot of gastric discomfort. If you want to talk about what helps you within your breastfeeding and, your experience, that is one thing. But to be out here like pushing a product, recommending a product, and doing it to a group of people who are sleep deprived, who have a lot of hormones going on, who are just trying to provide as best as they can, that is so predatory in my opinion. And I am just disgusted by the distributors who save these, images and then repost it on their story. I can't believe there are people out here doing that. There are so many things that we can do to help support milk supply that don't involve ordering anything from Plexus or another nutrition MLM company. Okay, so last screenshot. That was the last of Plexus that I have for you today, but I wanted to share this one. This is not from a distributor. This is actually from Autumn Calabrese of Beachbody. She is the creator of the 21-Day Fix. Just have to read this. This was from her Instagram. So it says, y'all want the truth? The truth is I haven't been 100% with my nutrition this last month. Even with the filming of Off the Wall and maybe a little because of it and the speed at which it had to come together, I made excuses for myself. I was probably on plan 80% of the time, and guess what? 80% of the effort only gets you 80% of the results. I've gained about 4 to 5 pounds. That's a lot for me. I wasn't pigging out. I wasn't eating fast food or binge drinking. It was a few dark chocolate chips at the end of the night because I had a sweet tooth a few times a week. It was a glass of wine that I didn't save a yellow for or account for. It was an extra yellow here and there. Not even an unhealthy yellow, maybe a piece of toast or a few extra bites of breakfast potatoes. But what does all that add up to? It adds up to me eating in surplus, not maintenance. It adds up to a few extra choices a week that we think are no big deal, but over several weeks has an impact. Y'all, I was doing 2-a-days of Off the Wall. These are hard workouts. But what do I always say? You can't out-train a bad diet. Let me rephrase that though, because what I was eating wasn't bad, it just wasn't properly portioned. You can't out-train overeating, even when it's healthy food. The good news is I know exactly how to get back on track and back to what feels healthiest on my body. I've been tracking my containers diligently on the BOD app. I've been making all my meals at home using the Fixate recipes. I'm filling in the gaps with my nutrient-dense Shakeology. I'm drinking my water, pushing hard in my workouts, and practicing self-care. And most importantly, I'm not beating myself up. Kind of sounds like it. I'm not beating myself up about it, nor do I expect the scale to drop in a day or two. I'm not perfect. Being the trainer doesn't mean I don't slip from time to time, but being real means that I show you all the sides and how you can take control too. So here's to taking back control, putting on my bikini, and still celebrating the skin I am in. So the fact that she has so many people looking up to her for health, and she is acting as if 5 pounds are automatically just a bad thing, something that we need to get rid of, something that is saying that she is out of control and that she has, been bad. As she said, you can't out-train overeating. And the fact that she mentions that it wasn't from bad food, which that's a whole nother thing. It's just like her saying, how can I make people more fearful of every single kind of food. It was just a few dark chocolates at the end of the night, not even an unhealthy yellow, maybe a piece of toast or a few extra bites of breakfast potato. Let's just make people more afraid of food. That sounds like a great idea. Very mentally healthy, Autumn. Being real is to show you all the sides and how I can take control too, because we need more management and control in dieting. We know what the research says long term of the effects of dieting. Autumn and anybody else in a kind of similar level as far as exposure in the health field, I believe that they have a much higher responsibility, not further spur on diet culture, because they are being looked at for health. Those are all the screenshots that I have for today. I don't know how my energy level went throughout the video, but all of these were so frustrating to see, and I hope that I explained them well enough as to why they are frustrating. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed. I will also leave information down if you find any similar kind of claims, if you want to go ahead and report those to the FTC. It's a great idea, but what are you doing? Coconut, do you have anything to say? Is there anything you want to say? I will see you next time. All right.